When learning a language, it is very important to learn about the culture of the country and people. It makes some things easier to understand about the language and is just interesting. Hello and welcome to Happy English School. There are several English-speaking countries all over the world, and each of them has its unique history. Today I'd like to tell you about the United Kingdom. Not to make this video 100 years long, I decided to tell you 3 things about each country. Let's begin. As you probably already know, the full name of the country is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And it consists of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, these 3 form Great Britain, and Northern Ireland. Elizabeth II is the Queen of the United Kingdom and lives in London, England. She was born in London on the 21st of April 1926, and today, in 2021, she is turning 95 years old. She lives at Buckingham Palace, which has 775 rooms and the biggest private garden in London. There's one room next to the Queen's bedroom, and royal corgis live there. The Queen is well known for her love to her dogs. If you go west-southwest from London, you'll find Oxford, with the University of Oxford. It is unknown how old it is, but there is evidence of teaching as early as 1096. More than 9 centuries ago. This makes the University of Oxford the oldest university in the English-speaking world. Ever heard about Alice in Wonderland? Lewis Carroll, who wrote this amazing book, studied at Christ Church, one of the colleges of the University of Oxford. If you watched Harry Potter films, then you've already seen Oxford because it provided its locations for many Harry Potter scenes. But there are things in England much older than the Queen and the University of Oxford. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument in Wiltshire. It consists of a ring of standing stones, each around 13 feet high, that's 4 meters, and weighing around 25 tons. That's about 17 cars. Archaeologists believe it was constructed 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. Legends say that giants who lived then brought these stones from Africa. To the west of England, you can find Wales, with a capital in Cardiff. The oldest building in Wales, Cardiff Castle, is situated in the heart of the capital. Its walls conceal more than 2,000 years of history. First, this place was a Roman fort, then a Norman stronghold, and for centuries the castle passed through the hands of many noble families. Today it's a tourist attraction and one of the most popular sites in the city. Can you touch a football with your hands? No, you can't, but you can hold a rugby ball. Rugby is the most popular sport in Wales. It is played with a diamond-shaped ball. Welsh Rugby Union was established in 1881. It had its ups and downs, but today this sport gathers hundreds of fans at the stadiums. David Andrew wrote, "To the popular consciousness, rugby is as Welsh as coal mining and male voice choirs." And, speaking of choirs, Ross Clark wrote, "You see, Welsh people are known to have 2 great passions, rugby and singing. The bardic tradition can be traced back to the 12th century. At this time, music and poetry had great cultural significance, with folk traditions enabling stories to be told and recounted down the generations. It is likely these traditions were also influenced by the lyrical nature of the Welsh language. In fact, Welsh was apparently used as the basis for the Elvish language in Tolkien's The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, partly due to its melodic, ethereal nature. If you travel to the north from England, you'll find yourself in Scotland, where men wear skirts. Just kidding. These are called kilts. First kilts, also known as the Great Kilts, were more than 6 meters long, and they could be worn as a cloak. Kilts were made of wool, and their tartan prints showed the origin or the rank of the owner. Later kilts became shorter and easier to wear. Looks awesome, right? Have you heard this before? This fascinating instrument is called bagpipe. It's the main national instrument of Scotland. Bagpipes are harder to play than any other instrument. That's why it will take you up to 1 year to play the simplest songs. They say that after the Queen wakes up, the piper plays song for her, while she is reading the Times and having her first cup of tea. Scotland also has lots of legends, and one of legend that you can see today is the Loch Ness Monster. The earliest report of a monster in the area of Loch Ness appears in the 6th century. The man was swimming in the river Ness when he was attacked by a water beast that dragged him underwater. Other men tried to rescue him in a boat, but he was killed. From the end of the 19th century, there were a lot of claims about seeing and taking pictures of Nessie, and even attempts to explore the lake to find it. Today, you can visit Scotland and try to do that yourself. It's a very popular tourist place. If you swim across the North Channel, you'll see Northern Ireland. Notorious Titanic was built in Belfast, the capital of Northern Ireland. That was the biggest and the fastest ship at that time. On the 14th of April 1912, she struck an iceberg and went down. More than 1,500 people sank that night. Today, Titanic lies on the bed of the ocean, but you can visit Titanic Belfast Museum to find out more about her history. Not only England had its giants. On the north of Northern Ireland, you can find their traces too. The giant Causeway is an area of about 40,000 basalt columns. According to legend, the columns are the remains of a causeway built by a giant. The story goes that the Irish giant Finn MacCool was challenged to a fight by the Scottish giant Benandona. Finn accepted the challenge and built the causeway across the North Channel so that the two giants could meet. In one version of the story, Finn defeats Benandona. In another, Finn hides from Benandona when he sees that his foe is much bigger than he is. Finn's wife disguises Finn as a baby and tucks him in a cradle. When Benandona sees the size of the baby, he reckons that its father, Finn, must be a giant among giants. He flees back to Scotland in fright, destroying the causeway behind him, so that Finn could not chase him down. If you run out of money during this long journey across the United Kingdom, don't worry. Just walk to the nearest forest of Northern Ireland, find a leprechaun and catch him. He will give you a pot of gold in exchange for his freedom. But be attentive, Northern Irish leprechauns are dressed in red. Now that you have a lot of gold, you can continue your journey. What was new for you? And what is the most popular place or feature of your country? Share with us in the comments. Thank you for joining me today. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell button not to miss the next lessons, and see you next time. Bye!